Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. In this video I want to talk about power, and the reason why is you're going to need a lot of it. So after you get your biomass burners going and you get your foundation set up, the next thing you should think about is automating your power. The first power plant to set up is the coal power plant. So for this playthrough I started out on the Dune Desert and I built my first coal power plant off of the shoreline. So let's take a quick tour over there so you can see what I built. Okay, so here's the first power plant that I built, and then if you look up the shoreline you can see that I built a second coal power plant. So one thing that I found is there's a lot of coal scattered throughout the map. So after you set up your first coal power plant, you may want to start thinking about setting up a second coal power plant and then possibly a third. So after you get everything up and running, you can begin to add the power shards to increase the power. However, every time you add the power shards, you're going to need to upgrade your conveyor belts and the coal miners to increase the amount of coal being delivered to your coal generators. And then lastly, every time you increase the power of your coal generators, you're going to need more water. The next power puzzle to figure out is fuel. And once again, after you set up one fuel power plant, I would go ahead and set up a second fuel power plant. And while you're doing all of this, you're eventually going to unlock the power augmenter. So the power augmenter generates 500 megawatts of power and boosts the total power capacity by 10%. So eventually you'll be able to build a few of these as well. However, to build these, you're going to need a ton of summer sloops. And I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that correctly actually. But to do this, you're going to have to do some hunting. So here we have the power augmenters, and you can see I've built 4 of these. Okay, so let's take a quick tour, and I want to show you 2 of the fuel power plants that I've built. So the first power plant that I built is over here off to the left, and then I'm going to have another power plant, fuel power plant over here to the right, and then you'll see that I have more coal coming from the farther side of the map here, coming down to this second fuel power plant. So let's take a closer look at this second fuel power plant. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is the geothermal generators. This is probably the easiest thing to build to generate power. Basically, all you have to do is build one generator on top of a geyser, and just so you're aware, these generators fluctuate and are affected by the purity of the geyser. So to help with the fluctuation, you can build a bank of batteries. This may help to prevent your power grid from going down in case you overload your power grid. Okay, so after you set up your 2 fuel power plants, you can then convert these to turbo fuel power plants. It takes a little bit of work and configuration, but you can get quite a bit of power by doing this. And then after you do this, lastly, when you get to the end game, you can start working on your nuclear power. It's a complicated puzzle, but it's fun trying to figure out. And I know what you're thinking. Do I really need all of this power? And the answer to that question is yes. It will take a ton of power to finish this game and get all of the achievements. However, you don't have to build exactly as I did. You may build more augmenters or more fuel power plants, etc., but it will take a lot of power to get all of the achievements. And once again, as you can see, I've built 2 nuclear power plants because honestly, why would you build one when you can build 2? I'm also trying to do a slow fly over here so you guys can see my setup, and I will most likely do a future video so you guys can see my nuclear setup. Anyway, I hope some of these tips help some of you out, and thanks for watching.